What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on the Get Up, they're going to be talking about Russell Wilson and whether or not he's going to re-sign with the Seattle Seahawks or might he wind up with some other team. So let's see what they have to say.
Speaking of which, let me explain. Today is Russell Wilson's deadline day for a new contract with the Seahawks. Reports have indicated the two sides are ramping up negotiations over the weekend, but no deal has been finalized to this point. Wilson is still expected to report to the team's offseason workout program, which begins today with or without a deal. It's not a question of holding out. It's a question of what the future would look like if he doesn't have a contract. I want to bring Field Yates in on that thought. Good morning, Field. How likely is it that a deal gets done today? And maybe more significantly, what happens if it doesn't?
Yeah, well, good morning, Greeny. And as of at one point this weekend, there was not a ton of a sense or confidence that a deal between Russell Wilson and the Seahawks would get done. And as we know, today is the deadline, but it's not like this just popped up a couple of days ago. These two sides have been working on a deal for quite some time. But remember, though, the last time Russell Wilson has set a deadline for a contract extension, the two sides hammered out a deal at the very last minute. So don't rule out an extension today, even if it doesn't seem likely at this moment. Now, should an extension not be reached, all of a sudden we face a situation where most players, specifically quarterbacks, want to sign a deal a year before their current deal expires. Russell Wilson may be the outlier, and if he doesn't get a deal done by today, it may be that we are talking about Russell Wilson and a franchise tag, and Russell Wilson and the possibility of the Seahawks not having him as a part of their franchise at some point down the line going forward. That's just the way it works with quarterback contracts in the NFL. A season of what-ifs and hypotheticals could rule Seattle if no deal is done by later on today.
So I think what the Seattle Seahawks need to do is re-sign Russell Wilson because he's done so much for the team. For one thing, he went to 2 Super Bowls back-to-back. He won one, and he would have won the second one, but they didn't run the ball with beast mode, which helped them lose, and he was kind of forced to throw a pick in the end zone. So that's why they lost the second Super Bowl. And last year, Russell Wilson, I do believe he's had a career high in touchdowns, a career low in interceptions, and a career high with this quarterback rating. I think it was like 110.9. So I would definitely say that you probably want to re-sign Russell Wilson. And if you were to go to any other team, what they're saying, maybe the Giants. Well, I know the Giants are going to be looking for a quarterback because Eli's probably on his way out. But weren't the Giants looking at picking up Haskins, the quarterback for Ohio State? And Haskins wants to go to New York too. So I don't know how that's going to work out. So if they do make a trade and the Giants do get Russell Wilson, so what's that mean? Who's the quarterback going to be for Seattle? Are they going to pick up Haskins in the draft, even though he doesn't want to go to Seattle? How is that going to work? And Russell Wilson is a proven quarterback, a proven veteran quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. Do you really want to make the trade and get whatever quarterback like that? Because good quarterbacks are hard to find. So do you really want to get rid of Russell Wilson? Because you know what you're going to get with him. You know what's in him to do. So I think it'd be a mistake for the Seattle Seahawks to not re-sign Russell Wilson, but maybe I could be wrong. So let's see what else they have to say.
Then let's throw in the seemingly impossible scenario, but as we learned this weekend, sometimes the impossible happens. Tyrann Mathieu recently tweeted that Russell wants New York. There have been some low-key rumors about Wilson being traded to the Giants. Is there any real possibility Russell Wilson gets traded before the draft?
You know, one thing here, Greeny, to keep in mind is that a team that will be trading for Russell Wilson is essentially paying the price in 2 separate ways. One, plenty of draft capital, because Russell Wilson's not going to come cheap. You're probably paying at least 1 first-round picks, perhaps multiple first-round picks, and then likely a record-setting contract for Russell Wilson. So while the Giants might make sense, given the fact that they have a massive need at long-term quarterback, this is a team that right now, from what I understand, Greeny, is more focused on finding a way to rebuild its roster through the draft. As things currently stand, they have 12 draft picks, and as much as fans would be clamoring for Russell Wilson, and he would...
Now, I know Seattle wants to rebuild or whatever, but Russ Wilson's not that old to you want to have to be trading him. I think he's only 30 years old. So he still has a good football shelf life. Like I said, a good veteran quarterback is hard to find. And he's won a Super Bowl and won the 2. So I don't know about that. If you're going to rebuild, you definitely want to keep Russell Wilson. Definitely. And rebuild around him. I would just pay him his money because you know what you're getting. And if those draft picks, you don't know what you're going to get. You're not going to get your value's worth if you sign somebody else and trade away a Super Bowl proven quarterback. quarterback. So I don't know. And it just doesn't make sense. So let's keep going.
Make a lot of sense given the team's needs and the affinity for New York, etc. I think the team is much more likely to be focused on potentially one of the draft prospects at quarterback that could be available at pick 6 or 17.